Welcome to Chapter 13, Inventory Management. It starts on page 550. On the middle of page 551, under Introduction, we talk about inventory. And inventory is a stock or store of goods, basically. On page 553 in the middle, the different kinds of inventories include the following: raw materials and purchase parts, partially completed goods called work in process or WIP. Some people say work in progress, but it's really work in process. Finished good inventory in manufacturing firms or merchandise in retail stores. Tools and supplies, maintenance and repair inventory. Maintenance and repair is MRO. You might have seen that before. MRO, maintenance and repairs. And then goods in transit to warehouse, distributors, or customers, pipelines, inventories. But again, remember, work in process. Down toward the bottom, the functions of inventory. One is to meet anticipated customer demand. Second is to smooth production requirements. And that can be primarily in manufacturing, and to decouple operations, however, to smooth production requirements. At the bottom of page 554, under Objective of Inventory Management, the overall objective of inventory management is to achieve satisfactory levels of customer service while keeping inventory costs within reasonable bounds. The two basic decisions for inventory management are when to order and how much to order. My old boss always said that if I know what to make and when to make it, I got a chance of being successful. Page 555 in the middle, under Requirements for Effective Inventory Management. Management has two basic functions concerning inventory. One is to establish a system to keep track of items in inventory, and the other is to make decisions about how much and when to order. To be effective, management must have several things it lists there: be able to keep track of the inventory, the forecast of demand, lead times and lead time variability, holding cost, ordering cost, and shortage cost, and some kind of classification system. Later in that same page, under Inventory Counting Systems, periodic system is a physical count of items in inventory made at periodic intervals. Could be weekly, monthly, annual. Some of you may have had to participate in complete physical inventories before. And then down at the bottom of the page, on page 555, perpetual inventory system is a system that keeps track of removals from inventory continuously, thus monitoring current levels of each item, which is an awful good thing to know. How much do you already have? On the top of page 556, they talk about the two-bin system. Two-bin system is where you have two containers of inventory. You reorder when the first is empty. And I have to tell you, that's what I had to do a lot in my previous life. We called it a Kanban system. You may have heard of that. Kanban is just-in-time inventory. Really, you don't want to have much more than you need at any one time. So a two-bin system. Page 557, down toward the bottom, under inventory costs, there are four basic costs associated with inventories: purchase, holding, ordering, and shortage cost. If you run out of something, are your customers going to go get it somewhere else? So you have to think about that relative to a shortage cost. On page 558 in the middle, talk about the ABC approach. The ABC approach is is classifying inventory according to some measure of importance and allocating control efforts accordingly. We also had that with our Kanban system. We had an A Kanban, a B Kanban, or a C Kanban, which was a combination of A and B. On page 560, talk about cycle counting. Another application of the ABC concept is as a guide to cycle counting, which is a physical count of items in inventory. The purpose of cycle counting is to reduce discrepancies between the amounts indicated by inventory records and the actual quantities of inventory on hand. What do you think you have? What do you really have? Page 561, toward the top, how much to order? Economic order quantity models. The economic order quantity, EOQ, is the order size that minimizes the total annual cost. How often should we really make this stuff? How often, we don't want to run out, but we don't want to have excess. So economic order quantity, EOQ. On page 568, under quantity discounts. Quantity discounts are price reductions for larger orders offered to customers to induce them to buy in large quantities. Makes me think, I just saw Arby's ad that if you buy 5 some kind of sandwiches, they're for $10. I don't know how much it is if you just buy 1, but if you buy 5, it's only $2 a piece. Quantity discount. On page 573 at the top, reorder point ordering. EOQ models answer the question of how much to order, but not the question of when to order. The latter is the function of models that identify the reorder point, or ROP, reorder point, in terms of a quantity. The reorder point occurs when the quantity on hand drops to a predetermined amount. On the top of page 578, some reasons for using the fixed order interval model. In some cases, a supplier's policy might encourage orders at fixed intervals. Even when that is not the case, grouping orders for items from the same supplier can produce savings in shipping costs. Furthermore, some situations do not readily lend themselves to continuously monitoring of inventory levels. Many retail operations, drugstores, small grocery stores, fall into this category. The alternative for them is to use fixed interval ordering, which requires only periodic checks of inventory levels. 4 times a year, we're going to order this, and then we'll have enough bags on hand at a grocery store. Page 560, down toward the bottom, under the single period model. The single period model, sometimes referred to as the newsboy problem, is used to handle ordering of perishables like fruits, fresh fruits, vegetables, seafood, cut flowers, and items that have a limited useful life, newspapers, magazines, spare parts for specialized equipment. The period for spare parts is the life of the equipment, assuming that the parts cannot be used for other equipment. The single period model. The case you will have done probably already by now is on page 600, UPD manufacturing. The questions that you're going to answer. Would using an order interval other than every 6 weeks reduce cost? If so, what order interval would be best? And what order size would that involve? Number 2, would you recommend changing to the optimal order interval? Explain. So those are the two questions, and you'll do your calculations based on that. Again, this is chapter 13, and we'll be having another one here very shortly. Thank you.